What's going on, YouTube? You're back with Shades, and we're continuing our Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. Me and Injustice on my ears. Last time we left off, we were having a really interesting discussion with Rin about like art, and it's very thought-provoking. Like, why create art? Does art have a meaning? Does it have to have a meaning? I don't think so. But it certainly helps that that you can have a discussion about it. Also, I have my sister's fidget spinner over here. Because I keep fidgeting a lot, because I keep finding something for my hands to play with, and this probably helps. Anyway. More people walk by, some of them pointing their fingers at the mural, exchanging words that I can't make out. Someone drops a snow cone on his shoe. Too bad for him. Everyone seems to like it. I suggested tentatively, throwing a topic in the stale summer air separating us. Rin doesn't answer right away, but by now I am mostly used to her occasional slowness when she must talk. It's like she takes great care picking her words, which is really unbelievable when you consider the jumble that comes out of her mouth. I wanted to make it so that you could just look at it without thinking. Then I realized that it doesn't make any sense, so it became something like a mix of this and that. From far away, it looks like someone vomited a herd of butterflies on the wall, which is exactly what obnoxious president person didn't want. Is that word? Is that word that? What word? That. What is the word for more than one butterfly? Butterflies? No, like a herd, or a school, or a heap. Oh, I don't know. A flock, maybe? Maybe like butterfly vomit. Maybe people like butterfly vomit. Rin looks at the mural, looking surprisingly unhappy. Oh, she's not satisfied with her work? Man, do I know that feeling. That's the curse of the artist. To never be satisfied. The middle could be better. She looks like she's about to cry. Oh no. I usually like in-betweens, but this is a pain in my butt. Not literally, of course. Then again, I did get that too. I guess it was literally after all. Don't be so critical of yourself. She looks at me funnily, but shuts up. At this point, I start thinking if I should really leave and do something more constructive with my Sunday. This is the pinnacle of social failure. A whole free day, a festival right outside my doorstep, and what do? Sit here with Rin. Two bystanders with nothing to do except think of what a pity it is to be just a bystander. Even realizing how pitiful it is, I don't do anything. I don't stand up and take off for a day of fun. Wait, that was weird. That's new. Fidget. Shuffle. Rin is shuffling about restlessly, constantly swinging one leg over the other knee and then back again. She has a very irritated look on her face. Is something wrong? Yes. No. Yes. She suddenly hops up on her feet. It's surprising. I thought she was still rendered immobile, but apparently that's not the case. I have to go find Emmy or someone. I need help with something. I can help you. No, it's okay. One of us has to stay here in case something happens. Don't be ridiculous. Nothing even remotely interesting has happened since I came here, except that one guy dropped a snow cone on his foot. Let me help you since I'm bored. So what is it? Rin's lips flatten tightly against each other, into an almost perfect horizontal line. She closes her eyes and draws in a deep breath. When she opens her eyelids, the frighteningly stern look in her dark eyes takes me aback. Hisao, you might not want to hear this, or maybe you do. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Even if it did, you are not leaving me any other choice. Oh! Well then, that happened. I'm having my period, and I need some help regarding that. However, I don't feel that our relationship is yet on the level where I could allow you to pull my underwear down in the girls' toilet even if you offer to. That's why you should stay here while I go look for Emmy. Well then! As blood rushes to my cheeks like the rising tide, my brain tries to desperately search for an answer. But the only thing I think of is how this was the most coherent thing I've ever heard come out of Rin's mouth during this 4 days I've known her. Yes. Just a fear. Yes. Not wanting to meet Rin's eyes, I turn my face aside, pretending I'm looking at someone's parents. From the corner of my eye, I see Rin turn on her heel, walking out without further ado. I feel like going to hide under some rock. I understand that feeling. I wonder how long Rin will be gone, or if she will return at all. She doesn't return eventually, appearing seemingly out of nowhere and sitting back to where she was, next to my place. I'm back. She says it flatly, like my blunder never happened. I prefer to forget the whole thing as well, so I keep quiet. The dark Rin approaches. It's the shadow, the true self. Time passes in a standstill. The sun gleams from high above the main building. It hits me directly in the eyes, but I just squint instead of moving. In a bit, it becomes painful to keep my eyes open just a little, and my temples start aching. My head hurts. I think the day is giving me a headache. Can you believe it? Are you hungry? How is that related to a headache? It is! It's not. I ask because I am. Her oblivious seriousness melts my irritation with its ridiculousness, and I find the corners of my mouth turning slightly upwards again. You know what? So am I. I'll go get some food for us. What do you want? My treat. Doesn't matter. I return with the food. I give one portion to Rin, taking the other for myself, and digging without a word. Rin looks upwards, fork hanging out of the corner of her mouth. What are clouds? I always thought they were thoughts of the sky or something like that, because you can't touch them. You thought that like that when you were a kid? No, last week. Maybe because sometimes my thoughts feel like clouds, fluffy and white and slow. Like the sky was in my mind, like my mind was in the sky. The sky of your mind? Close your eyes and think of the sky. You won't be able to think of anything else until you stop. I try it. It works. Magic? Opening my eyes, I see Rin studying me with her eyes. It feels uncomfortable because she doesn't say anything. I turn away. Clouds are water. Evaporated water. You know, they say that almost all of the water in the world will be at some point of its existence will be part of a cloud. Every drop of tears and blood and sweat that comes out of you. It'll be a cloud. All the water inside your body too. It goes up there sometime after you die. It might take a while though. Your explanation is better than any of mine. Because it's true. That must be it. I carry on eating the food before it gets cold. The wall offers a bit of blessed shade as the sun revolves around the dome of the sky. But the afternoon is already slowly making way for the evening, so our lunch becomes more of a dinner, or whatever the word is for a regular meal like this. Dinner! Despite what I decided to call it, it certainly hits the spot. Haven't eaten a bit since forever. My appetite filled, I let out a satisfied sigh. Rin hasn't eaten all of hers, but seems to be done with her food as well. I lean back, taking in the atmosphere. The crowd has thinned already, but the activities are still going. Everyone seems to be enjoying themselves. And why not? It's warm, the kind of perfect summer day when it's hot, but not too hot for comfort. The sun will set soon. Time really has flown by. We've been sitting here for 6 hours. Yes, we have. Do you want to do something else now? No, not really. Me neither. She adjusts her position and leans against the wall. I follow her lead, relaxing my own body. For minutes on end, we sit there without saying a word. I'm trying to feel Rin's mood from her demeanor, the tension of her muscles, the tiny expressions fleeting on her face. It's no use. She's unreadable as always. The crowd swells to and fro, people happily chattering with each other. Very few people pay real attention to the mural, and even less to us. I fiddle with a few odd pebbles absent-mindedly. Maybe you need a fidget spinner! That was so dumb. The idea of doing something just for the sake of doing something, the pinnacle of idleness. Inch by inch, the sun creeps lower and lower toward the tree line, changing the color of the sky on the horizon from golden yellow to orange and red as the moment of the sunset draws near. I feel like my stomach is filled with lead after eating so heavily, but the brick wall feels surprisingly comfortable against my back. I try to fight against the drowsy feeling that is overwhelming me, to no avail. He takes a nap on the wall! I would check that wall over there. I wake up with a start. A low boom reverberates through the school grounds. After images of bright sparks flash through my vision like stars. Something rises toward the sky from the direction of the sports field. A tail of fire chills behind it until bursts of yellow and red flames light the sky high above the school with another loud boom. Honeybee! The sudden flash of light against the canvas of the night sky awakens me to realize that it's actually dark already. How long did I sleep? I feel groggy and I can't feel my right arm. As I attempt to flex it, I realize why. Rin is leaning heavily against my shoulder, almost falling on my lap. Oh, it's the nice music. She is fast asleep, not even fazed by the fireworks. Her mouth is slightly open and her eyes are peacefully closed, a sleeping childlike face of the innocent. I shake Rin gently with my free arm, trying to wake her up, or failing that, move her so that my arm is liberated from its pinch. Oops. Rin's face twitches and her eyelids shut tighter, as if to resist against waking up. She gradually opens her eyes, but keeps them half closed, letting the light from the fireworks sneak just past her eyelashes so that her green irises mirror the bright flashes of the explosions, and looks up at me and frowns. Just a while longer, okay? Rin's voice is drowsy and slow, leaving her almost unintelligibly muttered words hanging lazily in the air. It seems she's not entirely aware of the situation. Rin's head drops back on my shoulder as she leans against me with all her weight. She snuggles against my side, trying to make herself comfortable, but making me feel very uncomfortable at the same time. You're touching me. You're touching me. I know that feeling. I become intensely, almost painfully aware of Rin's warm body against a deep, peaceful movement of her chest against my arm. Her breathing soon returned to the even rhythm. I can't help admiring her gift of sleeping, or the ease of mind of hers to use someone else she's known for less than a week as a pillow. Oops, you didn't hit that button. The rockets rise up to the sky one at a time, breaking into flowers of red, green, and gold, accompanied by the oohs and ahs of the audience. I try to push Rin's disconcerting proximity out of my mind, for what can I do about it? I can just hope her short while is really just that. One by one, the glittery bursts are born and die in the blink of an eye, coloring the dark night sky into a constantly changing abstract painting. I listen to the low booms of the explosions and Rin's quiet breathing, trying to clear my own head of the post-awakening disorientation. Thankfully, just a while longer proves to be just a while, and as Rin stirs from her slumber and wakes up again before the fireworks are over. I fell asleep. She opens her eyes completely and blinks a few times. You fell asleep on top of me. Twice. You didn't like it? Well. Despite the inclusive stammering, Rin sits upright, drawing herself away from me. I'm a fidget spinner! Am I cool, guys? Well, you are heavy. It's a lie, she weighs next to nothing, but I have nothing to get a jab back at her, even if it's under the belt. My mock protest failed to draw any reaction as Rin's attention is drawn upwards to the flash of fireworks. She seems hypnotized by the colorful play of the explosions. A slight tingling sensation goes up and down my arms as blood starts to circulate again. It's unpleasant, but it helps me get rid of the dizzy feeling. More and more rockets rise up to the sky, the bright colors of their explosions reflecting from the clouds. Both of us stare at the fireworks fixedly through the canopy of the trees, enthralled by the show. We wouldn't get a vastly better view of the sky if we moved even a couple yards, but neither of us bothers to even suggest it. I really do like fireworks, even though looking at them makes me feel kinda sad, I think. It's like they want you to look at them so bad. They are loud and bright, but when someone looks, they're already gone. It's like they were not even real. They are real, I can tell you that. All this is real, you know. If you think about it, nothing really lasts for long. Either something like my life or yours is just a blink in the eye in the history of everything. Like one of those rockets. Poof, and we're gone. Wow, that's philosophical and something I think about a lot. I honestly do. How in retrospect, unless you make a massive discovery or a great invention, you're more likely like just no one. You don't matter, really. You only matter in the moment, or in the moment of your existence. Once you're dead, you're dead. Nothing else matters unless you do something amazing. Rather than linger on that, I thought way too much about that. But we're here, aren't we? Yeah, this is reality. Rin sitting next to me, the loud bangs of the fireworks, the vast, unlimited sky. These things are definitely real, even though they won't stay here forever. What a sad thought. I feel warm inside, and I wonder if it's because of Rin is so close to me, or just the feeling of being alive. I don't really know what I should say next. It's alright, maybe I'm just talking to myself. I don't know, maybe I'm talking to myself. But you know, fireworks are pretty, but in the end, isn't it somehow silly to spend so much money on a fraction of a second worth of pretty sparkles? Rin rips her gaze off the still going spectacle and leans backwards, looking at me with a repulsed face. Wow, I never expected you to be such a cynic. Cynic is a pretty harsh word. Rather than that, I think of myself as a realist. Nah, cynic's the word. If you try to find the negativity in everything, then you are a fucking cynic. I know I'm a cynic sometimes. Isn't a realist just the word for cynic calls himself? The final rocket goes out with a bang of silver and blue, leaving the grounds eerily silent for the moment until the crowd starts moving toward the main gate like a cattle herd. Wisps of gray smoke drift toward the dorms from the sports field. The pungent sulphurous smell of gunpowder it carries along feels like it sticks to my hair and clothes. Was that it? I think so. I stand up and stretch my sore back. Sleeping against the brick wall wasn't such a good idea after all. Rin stands up as well and turns to face me, with an expectant gaze in her tired features. Although she seems to have trouble focusing her eyes, she's looking straight at me. Something I feel has not occurred too often in the past week. So... I suddenly realized we had been almost on a date here, as if by accident, even if we did nothing. But it wasn't, so why is blood rushing to my cheeks and my spine and my speech stammering? I don't know what I should say, especially since it seems Rin is waiting for me to say something, but luckily she solves my problem for me. Good night, Hisao. Thanks! She gives me one more lingering look, measuring me from tip to toe, turns around on her heel and skips off, disappearing into the crowd. Okay. Good night. I'm left standing there, giving my response to the cooling night air. Sigh. The festival turned out to be nothing like I expected. I ended up spending all day in one spot with Rin, even though neither of us agreed on nor suggested we do anything. I just didn't have anything better to do, and evidently, neither did she. Rin's warmth lingers for a while longer in my body before disappearing into the falling night. Ooh! A dandelion! I always love these animated cutscenes. Whoa, what the hell? What was the frown from Hisao there? Was like, damn it, Rin, get up. I know those intros have some form of meaning, but, like, I wonder, what do they actually mean? What does it mean for the story? Anyway, I think it's a good place to stop the part, considering I have 2 minutes left, and that was probably a good place to end as any. So anyway, I'm stretching. Ugh. That was interesting. I feel like Rin's going to be a very interesting round because she thinks very abstractly. She doesn't have any like core thoughts in mind. She just goes with the flow. And Hisao's a very like rigid person. He's like a person that needs to be concrete, that needs to have clear indications, like a typical dense person. But I'm interested to see where this goes because I don't know. Because Rin's probably the most interesting character out of everyone here. Maybe not the most well-developed, because I haven't seen a lot of her yet. But she's the most interesting because her personality is just that, neutral. Like, she's hard to predict. And every other character you could probably predict to some degree. But she's hard to predict. So I'm interested to see where this goes. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me or from the series, hit the subscribe button. And if you're not exiting the Shadyverse, my name's Shades. And look at the fidget spinner. Bye!